Okay, Grant, how are you?
Yeah, man, I'm great, dude. I'm great.
Okay, excellent. We are recording. So, Grant, today we're going to talk about personal branding, and a lot of people want to know, does it work or not? And, my question that we want to make sure is answered is, for me, I think it works for some people that have, big personalities or at least great stories to share, but I'm not sure it works for everyone. Now, you could debate me. I'd love to hear your side of the argument, but I'm really interested in your thoughts on that as we move forward. And as we add Shana and Dr. Joyce Knutson, they'll give us their side of the story as well.
Why are you being so negative, man?
I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I just don't know if it's for everybody.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, look, here, number one thing of any business, the number one most important thing of a business is promotion. So if I don't know you, and everybody, by the way, is a business person, it's my belief that every person, there's not 28 million small businesses in America. There's 311 million small. There's as many people there's as many businesses as there are people. Everybody's got a brand. Everybody needs to walk outside and tell the world who they are.
I agree.
Blab or Periscope or Meerkat, these are just mechanisms that make it very easy for Shana and me to meet each other. Mark, me and you to meet each other, and people to meet people that have something to say. Everybody's interesting in some category in their life.
Okay. Well, you're jumping ahead, Grant. Hang on just a second. I'm going to have you and Shana introduce yourself. But first, a little bit of housekeeping. So if you want to ask either one of these two rock stars a question, just hit /Q and then the question, and it will show up in a question queue. The other thing is tell that little button on the left-hand side says tell a little bird. Please hit that to let everyone know that you're in the show. We want to invite as many people as we can. So that would be fantastic. And then lastly, for those of you who are just joining, this is a show about personal branding. It's not fluff. I'm going to challenge our guests. These guests have already done it. They've shown they can do it. So I'm confident, we're going to figure out whether personal branding's for everyone or not. And I'm sure, I'm going to take the side of maybe it's not. And I'm sure that our three of our guests are going to say, yes, it is. But it'll be an interesting discussion. And when Dr. Joyce Knutson joins us, she can introduce herself. Let's jump right in. I've been talking to Grant for this entire time so far. Shana, welcome. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay. If your microphones, you might want to talk closer to the microphone because we can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Much better. Much better. Yeah. Okay. If you don't mind kind of introducing yourself and kind of share your social stats because that's what everyone's interested in, and then why you chose and when you chose to build a personal brand, just as a short intro.
Sure. My name is Shana Mokler. I'm an actress, mother. I'm also the executive director for the Miss Nevada USA pageant. I'm a industry fanatic. My social stats, I guess I have about 141 K on Twitter. I have almost 500,000 on my official Facebook. And I have about 103K on my Instagram. I jumped right into social media. Right off the bat when it started, I think it's something in my industry, in the entertainment industry, that's a super useful tool and something that I have to use every single day to help market my brand.
Okay, good. Grant, how about you?
Well, I'm not an actor, for sure. I can't act. I am a businessman. I own 4 companies. In 2008, when the economy crashed, I saw social media as a way to basically brand myself to a wider audience. I think we have 740,000 people on Facebook. I did a Facebook stream last night. 100,000 people watched it. That's bigger than the town I grew up in. I have 340,000 people on Twitter, and 100,000 on following my YouTube channel with 15 million views. About 200 million impressions a year. We're on track for 18 million views of some sort of post, Instagram, or video this month. So for me, these are mechanisms where for with a lot of creativity and a lot of energy, a person can, and for very little money, a person can make themselves known in the world today.
Okay. Very good. All right. As Dr. Joyce tries to join us here, hopefully she can. I see her trying. Let's just jump right in, and I'm going to start with Shana again. Shana, what are the benefits? What are the benefits to you of building a personal brand? And if you don't mind, talk closer to the microphone. I think you sound better when you're closer.
Okay. I guess the personal benefits for me is I'm constantly doing different appearances and I'm endorsing different products, and that's something that's a huge way that I make my living. So being able to sort of brand myself attracts different companies who might want to hire me. Of course, if there's something that I'm personally selling, it helps me. It helps me do that.
Okay. What about you, Grant?
Look, if you don't know me, you're never going to do business with me. Period. I mean, that is the first rule of all business. Every family out there has a household, and if you're not letting people know about you and your family and your charity and your business and your brand and who you are and what you stand for, nobody's going to come to your door in this economy and somehow make your dreams come true. This is not a tooth fairy, Santa Claus, Easter Bunny economy. The Republicans and the Democrats are both confused about how to help people. So, I mean, after last night, I'm clear. This is all up to me. If I'm going to take care of my kids and my wife and my company and my employees, dude, it's all on me. And these are just mechanisms to do that.
Okay. But Grant, you do a lot of sales training, right? I mean, you're one of the premier sales trainers out there. Certainly got one of the biggest personal brands. So are you advising your salespeople to build personal brands around whatever they're doing?
I don't encourage them to do anything except what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm like, look, dude, just watch what other people are doing. And if it works, do it. So that's the rules of the economy. It's like any of my people can do whatever they want to do to make themselves known within the company. Because if my clients only know me and not them, they're going to always call me. And I can't expand and scale if everybody just wants to talk to Grant.
Okay. And Shana, you've done a lot of things around cosmetics and fashion and your love of animals. Is your personal branding helping with that? And would you advise anyone that are doing those activities to do the same thing you've done?
Yeah, I like I said earlier, I'm the executive director for the Miss Nevada USA, and I was the executive director for the Miss California USA pageant for about 3 or 4 years before that. And one of the things that we do is we mentor these young women. And the thing that I love and the beauty about pageants is that these women want to better themselves, and they want to get their names out there, and they want to take their careers to the next level, whether it's in, they want to be in entertainment, whether they want to be in business, lawyers, doctors, they want to build a practice. And so one of the things that we do is we have seminars on personal branding and finding out really who you are as a person and what it is that what your message is and what you want to get out into the community. So this is something that I really believe in, and it's something that I think is super important. And I personally watched it work. I've watched girls, go from, let's say 1,000 followers to 200,000 followers, and now they're getting opportunities that they didn't have before to push things that they never dreamed that they could.
And didn't you help Miss Nevada with her brand, and she eventually went on to win Miss America? Isn't that true?
Yeah, Nia Sanchez was my title holder. So was Alyssa Campanella, who has now one of the biggest fashion blogs in the industry right now, and I believe that Nia wants to follow suit. But yeah, I helped Nia, and she went on NBC and won Miss USA, and now she has over 200,000 followers on Instagram. And I think it's huge because now she's getting opportunities that she never had before, and she's getting a voice. I think that's key. I think what Grant was saying is, you need people to know who you are. You need people to, understand what your message is and what your brand represents.
Okay, great. We're gonna jump to a new topic. I really want to get into the meat and potatoes here and really start digging into how you guys did it. So before you got started in building your personal brand, how did you determine what that was? I mean, for me, and I'm nowhere near where you guys are and what you guys are doing, but for me, if you look at a Venn diagram, it's what was my passion? What do I actually know something about? And where could I make money? Those are just my 3 choices in a Venn diagram. I consciously made that decision. Grant, how did you determine what your personal brand was going to be?
Well, that's a great question. First thing I did is basically drew a little diagram of myself and what channels I could drop content on, and then made a list of what is it I can talk about. Who is Grant Cardone? A lot of that has gotten worked out, Mark, with the frequency at which I stream. Like I do a different stream every night of the week. Last night I did a real estate show. Why? I know real estate. I've bought and sold over $500 million worth of real estate in America. So I can do that. I can talk about that with very little effort and a lot of authenticity. Starting a small business from home. So each night what I do is I pick a story to talk about: sales, money, finance, marriage. Those are the things that everybody has a brand. I was talking to a 13-year-old kid yesterday, and I'm like, he wants to know what his brand is. I'm like, dude, what do you do every day? And if you just sit down and write a list, what do you do? I would put the money later, because I think the monetization is going to come out of you being great at whatever is authentic to the individual anyway.
Okay, so you're saying, follow your passion. What are you good at? Money will follow.
Julianne, can you pass me that? Not really. I hate that saying, by the way, Mark. I think that is one of those dumbest sayings in the universe. So, like, I took this whiteboard right here. Just back it up.
Nice. You are prepared.
Well, no, I just happened to be sitting in my office. We had this meeting the other day, and I said, this is the things that we talk about. I have kids. I'm married. I'm a husband. I talk about inspiration, finances. I had a tax audit. So, thanks. The state of California put me through 3 audits. What did I do? I did a stream about it. And when I won $650,000 from those freaking creeps in California, I freaking did a stream about that and made it public.
Is that why you moved to Florida?
Absolutely. I said the only reason I moved was to quit paying you freaking thieves.
That's not me. I'm with you on this one.
Yeah.
So Shana, how did you determine what your personal brand is? I mean, you got a lot of variety of interests out there. How did you determine what to focus on?
I do. It's so funny because when a lot of the shows and stuff that I was on, there was no social media, so it was kind of fun to kind of fall into the whole world of it. But I really, like Grant said, you kind of really have to figure out who you are as a person and what it is that you love and that you want to do every single day. At first I was in pageantry and I had a young female audience. Then I was in Playboy and I had a very active male audience. And then I went into the beauty industry. And, personally, I've learned about myself. I just turned 40. I'm getting older, and I want to do stuff with anti-aging. And it's for men and women, but I want to do it for 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and all the way up. So it was really finding out who I was as a person, targeting my audience, and finding out what it is that they need, and using my social media channels to find out what is it, asking them questions. What is it that you guys want to know about? What is it that you want to learn? What have you seen in my body of work that you connect with, that I can help you? And like Grant said, you have to be willing to talk about things, maybe things that other people are uncomfortable talking about, because people want to learn, they want knowledge, and they want to know. And that's one thing that I can tell by Grant and yourself, Mark. We're very open people, and we don't have a problem getting online and streaming and talking and conversing. And I found that was one of my biggest takeaways.
Okay, but Shana, I keep hearing that people aren't as outgoing as you and Grant, and they're kind of nervous about creating a personal brand or don't think it's for them. Do you agree or disagree with that statement that it may or may not be for everybody?
I think it is. I think it is for everybody, and and I understand what you're saying. My brother, for instance, is a plumber, and he, I try to talk to him about, well, then let's get you on social media and let's get you out there. My boyfriend's a mechanic. And, they just kind of hum and haw over and go, oh, it's not for me. I'm private. I don't want to do it. But it can double. As Grant with his businesses, you can quadruple your businesses if you get out there and you learn how to showcase yourself properly.
Okay. And Grant, so.
Hey, let me just say, Mark, if I was Miss USA, okay, yeah, I'd be a billionaire by now. You're gorgeous, by the way. You're gorgeous. I can't believe you're 40 years old. You're absolutely stunning. And my wife would say the same thing to you.
Thank you.
So, Grant, I'm of the opinion that not everyone should do it. I don't see how a mechanic benefits from it. So tell me where I'm wrong.
No, everyone should do it. Absolutely, no doubt. Mark, you are wrong. I like you, but you're wrong, dude. Everybody, it's like saying everybody shouldn't get known. The introvert, the people that are introverted, this is an unbelievable gift from God or whoever runs the universe for people to start coming out and talking to one or two people. Like, look, if you're not willing to go out into the marketplace and talk to people, you're not going to do well on this planet. So your parents told you not to talk to strangers. This is the safest place to talk to strangers.
Okay, but Grant and Shana, you can jump in too. It just seems to me that it's already a noisy environment. I mean, how much more noise can we put out there without everyone being lost in the stream, so to speak?
I also think it's important to find what social media works for you. I don't think, for instance, my kids love Snapchat. That doesn't work for me. And, you know, and I know a lot of companies and pageants that are doing Snapchat stories and that works for them. You know, I like to stick to Instagram and I've been starting to dabble with Periscope. You know, there's, you know, you say, how can a mechanic do this? You know, if a mechanic went on Periscope and just started showcasing, you know, what they're doing in their build and how they're building and how they're changing Harleys, that's that's something that they love to do. It's personal. Yeah. People are going to see that passion. And then, you know, people are going to want to go to that motorcycle shop because they're you know, they're you get what I'm saying. They're going to see it on Periscope and love it. And I think, so to answer your question, I think you have to find the social media that you connect with so that you can make it personal and you can show your passion.
So, I mean, are you?
Mark, let me just say this, okay? I personally, I agree with part of what Shanna said. Not. I don't think social media is about the one you like. It's about where your public is. Like I use Snapchat. I'm 57 years old. I shouldn't be using any of these mechanisms. You know, I am not the target audience. But what does it matter? It's not about me. It's about where is my audience. And until CNBC gives me a TV show, or I have a movie and somebody, you know, Paramount puts my face on the outside of a bus and spends a couple $1 million promoting me. Until that's going to happen, it's for the plumber, the mechanic. Anybody and everybody in America now can broadcast who they are and their ideas to the public. The mechanic could have, or the plumber could have some really, really interesting blabs or streams. Well, how do I get ripped off by a plumber? What are the mistakes you make when you hire a plumber? Okay. What are the biggest mistakes a plumber makes? I don't know. I mean, you know, how do you unplumb something? I don't know how many different ways you can make that story interesting, but there's something about everybody's business or brand that's interesting to someone.
Okay. But you've probably met a few of these people as well. And I'm not sure all of them are that interesting, right?
No, they're not. They're not. They're terrible.
They're going to be plumbers that are hilarious. I met one the other day, and he was absolutely hilarious. I mean, that's a whole other story for another show, but I just don't think it's for everybody. That's just my personal opinion. But
what you're saying is most people suck at a stream, okay? So and it's true.
Writing, bringing two sentences together.
But exactly. I saw a couple of people in the debate last night. I'm like, you got to be kidding, dude. Okay, you can't finish a statement and you're worried about them not giving you a question. So, look, the only way anybody's going to get good though is to show up and do it.
Yeah. And what do you think about, you know, let's say you're the owner and you don't necessarily, you know, you're not necessarily comfortable in front of the camera. I mean, can't you have one of your employees do it for you so that you're still pushing your company, you're still pushing your business?
Yeah, but that kind of proves my point, is that find somebody that can do it. And I agree, even if the owner's off camera filming it, or maybe he's on camera and somebody else is doing the discussion. I'm just not sure it's for everybody. Now, you guys, I understand you guys don't believe that, but I've seen a lot of people try and fail, and maybe it's not for them. Maybe there's another role they can play to help promote their own business. Okay. So we're going to move on. Now, this is what I'm very interested in learning from you guys, and why I have you on the show is, what specific activities have helped you build your brand the fastest? And whether it's on social media or other places, really interested to learn how you guys have done it and what worked for you the best.
Shanna, go ahead.
I guess for me, it's just really interacting with my fans on social media in every single capacity. And of course, my brand was really built the fastest by utilizing social media and garnering press. Because for me, press is really where I get my biggest fans.
Okay. Well, Dr. Joyce, we'll get to you shortly. Thank you for finally figuring out how to join us. Really good to see you.
It wasn't me. I kept going off and coming back on again, and it wouldn't let me, and I'm using Chrome. So
okay. All right. Well, we'll get to you in just a minute. Grant.
For me, the thing, Mark, just to follow up your question there, that's helped me. I'm not willing to get undressed, so I don't have. That's one way to get attention. It's just not going to be good for my brand. And so frequency for me, frequency and content. Okay, my audience, when I can spend an hour and 15 minutes talking to. Last night there was at the 34,000 people in a stream. And I'm getting no trolls, no negativity, no haters. I am controlling my audience with good, strong, dependable, frequent content. Nobody's going to come out the gate and figure this out. Nobody's going to be great the first time they do it. And even if you do it great one time, it won't mean anything because, like you said, Mark, the universe we're in now is so noisy, filled with so much stuff, that it's going to get lost in a second. So people need to be willing to be frequent and to create an audience where you're delivering something dependable to that audience, whether it's entertainment or whether it's information.
Is that frequency daily, weekly, monthly? What do you recommend?
I think it's daily.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. And a question came in for you, Grant. Would you want 100 diehard fans or 100,000 mediocre fans?
I would want 7 billion people to know my name. I want. You cannot get quality fans without quantity. It is impossible.
Okay. All right. Dr. Joyce, welcome. You're finally on.
Thank you. I'm finally on after 20 minutes.
We're going to hold your feet to the fire real quickly here. The question is that we're on is what specific activities have helped you build your personal brand the fastest?
I think that I went by something I came up with early on called RISK, where the R is researching. I think a lot of people get on social media and they don't do any research about what they're doing, and they're just following people, not knowing. A lot of people, like 44%, are not really even real people. So they need to do research, and the I initiate conversation. They need to do notifications and mentions. They need to talk to people. They need to make themselves available when somebody wants to ask them a question. And then select the people that you think are high influencers to follow Friday with, because a lot of people on Follow Friday will follow everybody that you tell them to follow. So that's really great. And you want to keep track of what you're doing. You want to have some type of strategic plan for Twitter. You just don't get on Twitter. I think people don't know what social sites are good for, and I'll tell you what they're good for are social. It's not about telling you about your problems. It's not about how many followers you have today and how many followers you'd had yesterday. It's not about you, where everybody puts in their Twitter feed, they put that they're an expert on this and there's 65 things. And of course, nobody could be an expert on all of those things, which is why my Twitter feed doesn't say that. So I highly recommend when people want to go on Twitter, they really put their heart into it. It takes time and it takes really hard work.
How do you know what channels to build a personal brand on? How do you determine that?
Dude, I use whatever road gets me to the freaking farmhouse. Like dirt roads, super highways, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. And by the way, I'll just tell you right now, I follow everybody. I love everybody. I love robots. I love haters. I love the lovers. Dude, I think this social place is a completely new universe that's being created right now. And I think the rules of old about Like, I don't do any research. I start talking to people. I want to talk to people. I want to communicate. I want to get involved with 7 billion people on this planet. I don't care about your language, your religion, your race, color, socioeconomics, how you vote. I want to be in communication with people. The people that gravitate toward me are like-minded. They're not opposite. So this just becomes a mechanism and a road where I get to meet people that I could not possibly afford to meet with time or money.
Okay, so you're on every social channel. That seems like that's a lot of work, right? I mean, how do you do your real consulting, your training? Where do you find time for that?
I can't do any real training or consulting if nobody knows me. I used to travel 250 days a year. I used to speak on the road 250 gigs a year. So last night, I talked to more people last night in a 1-hour stream from my home than I could possibly get to in a month.
Yep. Okay, so Grant, one last question before I go to Shanna. If you're just starting out, this is Grant Cardone 2005.
Yeah.
What channels would you choose today to get started on?
I would use Twitter. I would definitely use, if Facebook gave me Facebook mentions, by the way, which it did when it gave Dwayne Rock Facebook and it gave celebrities and athletes, they said, hey, Grant, you can do Facebook mentions, which is a stream. I would definitely do Facebook if you could get it. Twitter, and I'd probably use YouTube, even though I think YouTube gets crushed in this somehow.
Okay. Shana, do you agree? Is that where you'd start?
I agree with a lot that Grant has to say, but I disagree with some things too. I personally just can't. I can't do every channel. Like I mentally and physically can't do it every day. Because I do believe that being on it daily and working your social media daily is super, super important. I would definitely work with Twitter. I do Instagram. I do Facebook. And I'm really into periscoping right now. I really dig it. So those are my channels that I focus on. And I think really interacting with people all the time. Unlike Grant, I don't follow everybody because I find like a useful tool for me in building and attracting people to my channel is when I do different giveaways and I do different things to get people excited to come to my pages and to get interested in what it is I'm selling at the moment. One of the things that I use is, I'll follow you, or I'll promote this for you. And so, that's some of the tools that I use when I'm getting people excited on my page or trying to get people over there. But I think Grant has more followers than me, so maybe I should start. Doing.
I'm following you, girl.
Well, he's probably cross promoting. Would be my guess, right, Grant?
Totally, dude. I want to promote everybody. If you got love in your heart and you got more hustle than you got hate, I will promote you.
Okay. And I'm going to get to Dr. Joyce.
Uh-oh.
I think we lost him. I think we lost him.
Oh, yeah. So let's keep it going, man. Let's keep it going, guys. How's it going? Now we got Mark out of there. Mark's not asking any more important questions.
Very serious questions.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. What do you use on YouTube? Like, what is one of your favorite things to do on YouTube?
Well, I just started dumping there in 2008. That's what I started dropping videos on to figure out really my message.
Yeah.
I put 2,200 videos on YouTube in 4 years. So that was almost a video a day.
Okay. Well, let me ask you.
It was to work out. I get more traffic from YouTube than any other place, by the way.
Really, you do? Okay, that's an interesting fact. Let me ask you this. I'm someone that has 140 Twitter followers, and I want to build my fan base. What's something that you think that I can do on social media to start getting people more attracted to my page or getting them excited to want to follow?
That's why I love Meerkat. Okay, I like Meerkat because Meerkat has a almost seamless pitch into Twitter. So, and the other thing is to do stuff with like me, Shanna. I could get you a bunch of people.
Yeah, well, I know, I love that, and I want to, I'm interested. I'm sure a lot of people out there who are here, to talk to both of us, they want to know the tricks of the trade. What are some things that we can teach them?
I think collaborate with other people that have followings. How can you help other people? Like, how do I help Dr. Joyce? How do I help Mark? It just goes back to some old principles. Like, how do I help other people build out their network? And they're going to basically reciprocate.
Well, right. I need help getting back on here, so sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Dude, we had a freaking party while you were gone, bro.
I love it. Well, Shana, I was going to ask, I don't understand Periscope and Meerkat and how that builds personal brand yet. Can you share with us why you think that is a good tool?
Yeah, sure. The other day I was a celebrity host for a big hair show here in Los Angeles at the Avalon. And, I jumped on Periscope as I was getting my makeup done. I was introducing my fans to makeup artists and to things that I sell and to my demographic and why, being in the beauty industry. And I was going to an event. And so I was able to educate the people on what I was doing, where I was going. I was letting them connect with me and see me, and I got to answer questions and talk with them. And I think that's, why it's such an awesome tool.
Okay. And Dr. Joyce, have you tried?
Yes, I actually joined Periscope. I'm not even sure how or why, but everybody told me to get on it. So I'm on all the other ones, so I figured I'll try Periscope. And my idea for Periscope is I'm in my 7th decade of life. And I have been around, and I've learned a lot of things. And one of the things I learned is people want to know what you can do for them. It's like a child. What can you do for me right now? So I think that's how I built up my almost 1 million followers, because I'm always helping people and I'm always trying to give back and paying it forward to them. So the Periscope is something I really don't know yet. Mari Smith I think it's Mari Smith that has a lesson on it. I may take it, or I may figure it out myself, like I did with everything else that I've done. But I think it's important to get on everything. We're in like you said before, we're living in a world of technology, and 71 years old. It doesn't matter. I got to get in it, and I got to understand it. I was awesome. So angry with myself when I couldn't get on right away, because I did everything you told me to do, and I was on all that stuff. But I'm here now, and I really feel that the reason I have so many followers is what I do, Shanna, is what I do that's so important to do is make a list search. You don't have to do research if you're doing well without it. That's great. But I think the research is what makes me have these people, because I research people that I know aren't bots, that I know are real people, and I follow the people that they're following. And before I check out like every other one to see if they're real people, and they are. So that's what one of my secrets is I get on there and I follow people that I know are great people, and I follow who they're following. I never follow who's following them, because then you're going to get a lot of buy free followers, or you're going to get a lot of people that you don't want. And that's why I have 200 and something thousand that I'm following, and more following. I do use it's called Just Unfollow, and I know there's a different name for them now, but Just Unfollow will get you there. Once a month I'll go there and I'll look at that and see if there's some garbage on there, and I take them off. That's why I have 250 whatever that I'm following. I follow a lot of people, and 30,000 of those people are not following back. This is my research. And so it's amazing how many people, the statistic I've read is 44% of people on Twitter aren't really there. They just signed up. So you think they're there, and so they're not going to do you any good if they don't have followers, or they're not participating in notifications and mentions and Follow Fridays and all of this stuff. I think it's really the engaging that's the most important. And I have some great people. All kinds of opportunities come from being on Twitter. And although I'm on all of them, if I had to give them all up, I'd stay on Twitter. I think you do have to look into all of them.
Have you tried Periscope or Meerkat yet? Any thoughts or opinions on that?
I'm the #1 Meerkatter in the world, just so you know. That is official.
Really? What does that mean, #1?
I have more. I've done more Meerkats, and I don't know. I'm #1 over Madonna. So I am the #1. Like if you check out Meerkat streams, I'm the #1 Meerkatter in the world. I'm probably top 10 Periscopers in the world. I was Periscoping the first week it came out. And again, these are different audiences. For me, like the Blab audience is much more technology, much more sophisticated with technology than, say, and this is a much more engaging. Like I could do coaching calls here where I wouldn't do on Periscope. I would do a public coaching call for 2 or 3 people. On Periscope, it's going to be much more fun stuff, loose, less planned. Meerkat, scheduled, very scheduled. I can schedule a time there. So they all have different attributes and assets and liabilities and different audiences.
Well, how do you monetize Meerkat or Periscope? How do you turn that into more revenue for you? I can't figure this one out.
Well, I can just tell you my revenue is up 40% this year over last year.
And how much is that from Meerkat or Periscope?
Well, I don't do ROIs on every activity. Like some businesses, I'm a very young, not young, but I'm a very active entrepreneur. I have 4 companies, and I don't measure the ROI of every activity. And the reason why is this: I don't think you can measure promotion. I think promotion is like a breath of air. Like I need oxygen, right? A company, a business, and a brand must have oxygen to grow. And Periscope and Meerkat, these are freaking gifts to anybody that's got marketing energy and swag and anybody that's got information. Like these are just, I can measure it by my income statement. Okay. It's either driving people to my website or it's not. Now, I think a lot of people just don't have products.
Well, how do you direct them to your website? Is there now a way to have a call to action, or do you have to tell them what the website is?
Hey, go to grantcardone.com. Okay. Now I don't even need to tell. I wouldn't even waste my energy saying that because anybody's going to Google my name that finds me interesting.
Okay. So.
Right? So what I want to do is push to things that we have going on. Like I did this stream just the other night for 36,000 people. It was called MakeMillionsInBusiness.com. That was the title of the show, MakeMillionsInBusiness.com.
Perfect.
MakeMillionsInBusiness.com. That's a website, right? So I directed via the title.
Okay. I love it. Shana, if you're just starting out on Meerkat or Periscope, is there any topics that's not being heavily covered right now that if somebody wanted to say, okay, I'm okay being on camera, but I don't know what topics are available to me to build a personal brand in? Do you know of any right now offhand that you haven't seen?
I'm really new to Periscope. I'm just starting out, so I don't really have an answer for that. Like we were talking about earlier, I think it just comes back to a person really figuring out what it is that they want to showcase and focusing on that. I think that's what gets people interested in what it is that they're trying to sell, or what they're trying to reach.
Okay. Dr. Joyce, any comments on Periscope and Meerkat? I know you don't use them or you just tried them. Any last thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know about Meriscope. That's something I have to learn about. Did I say that right?
Meerkat.
Meerkat
and Periscope.
I don't know the first one. Meerkat. Okay. I guess I'll look into that. Yes, I get it. As far as Periscope, I think that my claim to fame, if there is one, is that I really want to help people. So I've been in the beauty industry for 30 years. I've helped people look their best. I'm up there in age, and I do everything myself. So I want to just maybe put some really cute, whimsical cards up instead of it being me, and start with that, because I have a pretty big Instagram following and a pretty big Pinterest following. So and obviously a big Twitter following, hundreds of thousands on Facebook, Google Plus, 20,000 or so. And I did this with no training. I did it because I'm a nice person and I always want to help other people. They like that, and we'll have Google chats if somebody's in trouble and they need somebody to help them. I'm that person. So I want to go on Periscope, but before I go on it, I'm going to have to research it and see where I fit in and where I'll get a lot of followers.
Excellent. And Grant, getting back to some of the things that you talked about before about building a personal brand, is there one let's just say, one key activity that you recommend somebody do that's just starting out that will help them launch themselves?
There's something that other people don't know. Okay, I call it altitude. Everybody has altitude someplace in life. My 4-year-old has altitude with me. She knows things that I don't know and can control me in that moment. My 6-year-old, my wife, okay, there's brand new employees in this company. They have altitude. They know something that other people don't know. That's where you start. That becomes something very interesting. I think anything can be made interesting. I think anything in life can be made interesting if we pay attention to it and say, hey, I want to talk about this and show people something they haven't seen. And I think there's an audience on this planet that's going to be interested in every single thing in life. Like Dr. Joyce says, she helps people. That's how she's built her brand over the years. She did it with TV and radio. The new TV and radio is what we're talking about right now.
Okay. Shana, any activities that you recommend for somebody just starting out?
I think everything that even Grant has mentioned, I think getting out there and really talking to your fans. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that I do. And everyone who comes to my social media is I just start interacting with them. And I think that's the best thing that you can do is really interact with them. So start that way. If you're periscoping and you're teaching and you're showing different people your craft or your trade, talk to people, answer their questions. People want to, they want to learn from you. Everyone has something to teach. So.
Okay. But you have fan base.
Mark, let me just say this. Somebody just said in comments, it's true. I don't even pay for leads anymore. This is from Shannon Lavinia. She's like, I don't even pay for leads anymore. Like, most of my traffic comes from YouTube until these streams showed up.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at, in a day, a couple 100,000 people. We don't know what percentage of that is brand new to me, but we know it's new public. So that just takes some time to build that.
Can I ask you guys this too? Do you think like different age demographics kind of gravitate towards different social media outlets? Because I know my kids are, my 16-year-olds and my 12-year-olds, they're just obsessed with the Snapchat. I find, the 30-somethings are really into the Instagramming and, there's a little bit of everyone. Do you find that different age demographics are different?
I find different age and different interest and almost different personalities. I see people move from one to another, the same person, and their personality actually shifts a little bit.
That's interesting.
Yep. Dr. Joyce, again, just starting out, what recommendations do you have for somebody that wants to start their personal brand, build that personal brand up?
Well, the last thing I would recommend is for somebody to keep promoting themselves. People don't like that. People do not like to be sold. So I would say find your niche, find what's good for you, that's going to work for you, and work it by you really are sort of second thing in mind when you're putting up your posts. Even though you may be telling somebody something that's going to help them in their life, you can then add something on that's going to get them to interact with you. And therefore, a lot of time, I go to bed with my iPad because I'm constantly being asked questions. And I think that is the secret to getting a lot of followers and really good followers. People, don't be afraid. This is a good one. Don't be afraid to follow people that have 500,000 followers. They follow back.
Yep.
You don't think they will. And don't be afraid to ask for a retweet. They retweet. You have to, if I ask Grant or Mark or Shana, I bet that you would do something I asked. I certainly would do this, willing to do the same for you. So I feel that when you get on, just be real, be yourself, be who you are, and let people like you for who you are and not your product. You have plenty of product. My website is I never understood this. The website is right under, and yet they ask you, how do they find you? What's your website? They're not reading. They're not listening. So you have to really kind of be there, answer their questions, even some stupid questions, answer their questions, do what they need you to do. Every night I retweet 100 retweets a day. I probably do that. They're interesting to me, and I think they're going to help another person. I'm constantly retweeting. I won't retweet something I don't believe in. So what was your question again?
Hey, Mark,
make sure I'm answering it.
I just want to add something to that. Like last night, I tweeted during the debate. So that becomes interesting to people. What's Grant's opinion of what's going on? So all these people were able to join my living room, right? It was an easy way for me to engage. I'm watching the thing anyway. My audience is on Twitter. When the GOP debate came out, I was actually in Aruba on a ship, and I streamed the debate. 25,000 people watched on Periscope while I watched the debate. Now, Dr. Joyce, she got some big breaks years ago on TV and radio, traditional TV and radio. She didn't have to promote herself. Today, man, this is a freaking noisy world by at least 50 times compared to the 60s or 70s. If people want to get known today, you better believe you need to promote yourself today.
And Grant, how do you do that? I mean, you're a natural, right? You're a showman. How does everybody else do that?
Thank you for the compliment. I think it's a compliment. I'm not sure
if
that's a compliment.
Of course it is.
But look, the way you do it is you get good with frequency. I'm better today than I was a month ago.
But when you say frequency, Grant, is that 1 per every 10, informational things that you put out there, or is there no kind of ratio that you go by?
I don't go by ratios. I'm not. I mean, I'm an instinct person. I'm subjective. I feel things. Things feel good to me. I watch. I'm observing. Right. And look, my goals are extremely big. So for big goals, you need a lot of activity. And it hurts me to see how many small businesses in America aren't doing well. How many individual people aren't doing well because. And no offense to Dr. Joyce. I love her. She's awesome. I'm a big fan. Dude, it's not true that people hate to be sold. It's not true. It's just not true. And it's not true. What your parents told you about don't toot your own horn. Why the hell should you have a horn if you ain't going to toot it?
I think though, I agree. I agree with you to an extent, but I agree with Dr. Joyce also because, for instance, on my Instagram, I see, there's girls on Instagram with, 300K followers and, they're getting paid by these companies to take a picture with skinny tea or with something else. And, they're making a couple grand to do that. And I've been offered to do that. And I turn it down because I find that my fans, my followers, one of the reasons why they connect with me is because I'm real. And I know people connect with you, Grant, because you're so down to earth and you're real. And I find if I start posting skinny tea, every other day, I lose interest in my followers. I
think that's a business decision that they're making, Shanna, a short-term business decision that is like, hey, I'm willing to sell out for a little bit of money rather than build a brand long-term. That's just a decision they're making as a business. I don't think that that's about a promotional thing. Okay. I think it's just.
I'd like to say something about a promotional thing. Okay, sure. I'm not against tooting my own horn. I just wrote a book and I put it out there. I am constantly doing things that I'm saying go to my website or a program that's coming up next year. But I do it like every 25 tweets. I do it, but I just don't do it all the time. And things are shoved down your throat all the time on these social sites. And I don't want anybody to shove something down my throat. So I don't want to shove anything down anybody else's throat. So I do promote, but I just do it in a strategic way.
Okay.
Hope that helps.
All right. Last question, because we got only about 8 minutes. So, and then I just want to remind everybody. I just want to remind everybody to hit /Q because we will have a few minutes for questions. So /Q and then questions. I've been seeing some of you do it, and I've been trying to incorporate them into the discussion here. But the last question I have is, what are the lessons learned, good and bad, Grant, that you've had as a result of building a personal brand? What can they expect, and what should they be prepared for?
The lessons. Oh my gosh.
Couldn't all be positive, right? You've had to have made some.
Look, here's the deal. Okay. There's a lot of trolls on the internet. Okay. This is a place there's one person I will not follow on any of these things. If you don't have a picture of yourself, I refuse to follow you. If you're either so lazy that you can't put your image in an avatar, or you're such a coward that you can't do it, then I'm not following you. Okay.
Or you're my mother who can't figure it out.
But then you know what? I love your mom, but so what? I'm just not going to follow her. She's out. So she's dead to me, as Mr. Wonderful would say. And the other thing is, I never give attention to the trolls and the haters. Disregard them in a stream. They will go away. All they want is attention. Do not pay attention to them. Don't talk to them. Don't acknowledge them. I don't bother with them. And I think it's the broadcaster, because that's what we're doing, Mark. You're a broadcaster right now, big boy. And you're doing a great job, by the way. Everybody give him a bunch of props. Load him up. 10,000 props right now. Everybody hammer him.
Thanks, man.
Just load him up, dude.
One of these days will be just like you.
Yeah. So the thing I would say is like disregard the haters, and the broadcaster is in charge of anything and everything that's happening in that stream. Take responsibility for it and control the audience.
Okay. Great advice, by the way, on ignoring trolls. Too many people take them on. It's just a big mistake.
Yeah.
Shana, any advice that you have or any lessons learned that you have?
I just think you need to keep your personal life out of your social media. I think it's really hard. I think some people constantly think that their social media is their diary. And, and I had to learn lessons the hard way. And I'm in the public eye. So, and I've used social media as well to garner press, to garner attention. If I have to do it like that. What am I doing? Am I making TV? Oh, that's right. That's TV. But yeah, I would say, keep it direct. Like, figure out what your focus is, what you're trying to express to your friends and your family and your fans, what your message is, and keep your personal life out of it.
Okay. Dr. Joyce?
I absolutely agree. You will notice on my tweets that I'm just not comfortable putting anything political, sexual, anything that's going to hurt someone's feelings. They're all informational or funny. That's what I use Twitter for. I have like Silly Saturday. I put a bunch of silly things up. I want people, I know as a self-esteem counselor that most people don't have it. You have 2 to 5% that don't have it. So they need attention. And that's why you do have a lot of people that are fakes that are trying to get your attention, and then they go away because they realize that you're not really doing anything to help them. So for their purpose. So I definitely agree. I don't follow anybody, religion, sex, kids, anything that people have an opinion about. I stay away from that. I really would like to say a lot of things about the politics in this country. I got a lot to say. We need to talk, Grant. But yeah. I definitely cannot do it on Twitter. I have my character and my integrity to upgrade with having this many followers and having a 30-year business. And I want to leave this world in a really positive way.
But
so I stick to the fun stuff and the positive.
Dr. Joyce, I would love to hear your opinion. You're 71 years old. You've seen a lot. And people want to know, what do you really think about these freaking scumbag politicians?
Don't answer that question. My advice is never talk.
You're a troublemaker. Okay. Well, people think they're scumbag politicians is what they think. And I think that's why Donald Trump's getting so much attention, because the more people spit on him, the more that he goes up in numbers, and might most likely be our next president, like him or not. But I really feel very strongly that it's not a good idea, because half the people in the country are Republican, half are Democrat, or somewhere in between, independents. And so you don't want to piss anybody off. You just don't want to piss anybody off. I've learned over the years that you just make people happy. Even if you don't agree with what they say, there's some good in it to say. And that's why I don't get into the politics, the sexual or the religion, because I don't follow people. If somebody who's extremely religious and has Jesus things all over the place, and that's not my bag, I don't follow them.
Okay.
So I follow people that are very, very open and honest and want to learn things. And for me, continuous education, Twitter is amazing. It's like an open networking forum for everybody. For me to have, even if there's 20,000 reel on my, almost a million, that's a lot of people before. And so it's amazing the radio shows I'm getting, the attention I'm getting. It's I didn't do it for that reason, but it's what happened. So I'm not sure if that satisfies you, Grant, but that was my answer.
Okay.
Dr. Joyce, I wish all your fans would follow me.
Well, I'll tell them to. How about that?
Tell them, baby. And because I'm going to give them an opinion that you keep holding back on.
Well, that's good. But see, that's diversification. You can't just get onto Twitter or get onto Instagram and not know what the F you're doing. You have to know what you're doing. And if people are shocked by that on this particular cast, because I don't talk like that on Twitter, but I mean, they're really confused by me because I'm different. People are saying, always retweeting that they type, I guess, my Twitter handle because they're so impressed that somebody really wants to help another person. Mm-hmm. It's like we live in a society that people are afraid to help. They're afraid they're going to get shot if they jump in the middle of a fight. Or there's so much. I could really have a talk on the phone because there's a lot I believe in. I just don't. It's like Shauna said. I don't bring it up and I don't put my dirty laundry in public. I don't give opinions.
I think you're flirting with me right now, though. I get a feeling you're flirting with me or Mark, one of the two of us.
We got to wrap it up on that note.
I'm flirting. Well, you're very good-looking guys. I'm not dead yet. I may be 71, but I'm not dead yet. So I think you're very handsome guys. I've been married for 47 years to a handsome guy, a prince, who is just wonderful. I love this man to death. And I'm going to probably make 50, 60, 70 years. Wow. And so one of the reasons we do that is because we're both really, really nice people, kind, want to help other people. And, he always tells people, I'm not a bitch. And they say, how could you be married somebody? I'm not a bitch. She's not a bitch. And so I'm not. I'm just a friendly person that wants to help other people. And I'm very happy to help all of you. But I'd like in return, just say, hey,
excellent.
appreciate.
Well, on that note, we got to wrap it up.
I do like appreciation.
Couple of things. This will be reposted on Forbes. I have a column called Socialize and Mobilize. This will become a video on Forbes. We'll dress it up a little bit more and post it so you can see it again. Secondly, please subscribe to our future shows. I think Grant's on a Periscope and Meerkat show that we're going to have in a couple of weeks. So if you want to see Grant again and see him win the props war here, subscribe in my profile.
No, Mark up. Hit Mark. Just bang him right now. In the last couple of minutes, bang him so hard.
Couple of seconds we've got here. Secondly,
line is 20 minutes, so I want to get on one of those shows again.
All right, sounds good. And then kind of lastly, please thank and follow our participants today on their social media channels. To follow Grant, you might have to find him on the 50 channels he's on, but at least try for 3 or 4. Okay, and with that, I want to thank our guests. I thought it was a wonderful discussion. I learned a lot, and I know everyone watching this recording will as well. Thank you.